Hello and welcome back to the Overdue Sports Show, episode 18 of the Overdue Sports Show. I'm your host, Jake Sawinski, accompanied, as always, by Will Massa. How we doing, Will?
Fantastic. We had to have some tough conversations over the last 7 days. We fired our draft analyst after
Yeah,
a rough day on the bets.
yeah, and he lost me 5 units indirectly. He didn't make me do them, so I'm not mad at him or anything. But
No, I mean
yeah, wasn't it?
we killed it in 2024, and this year was just kind of a struggle. There were certainly some long shots that weren't really close, but a lot of them were honestly surprising to me. And we got hooked on Jeanty, the Jackson Dart thing. I think a lot of it too is we anticipated there'd be a lot more trades in the first round, and there just wasn't that many. Like it seemed like most teams were just kind of like, we'll just take best available with where we're at.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seemed like, on top of like this class not being really deep in the typical areas, right? Like, I mean, I think you see a lot of the movement with the quarterback heavy classes, just because it's like you don't that talent as a class for that position isn't always, you know, as thorough in, like, look at last year, five guys deep in the first round. Um, Running backs it's kind of tough, because I think a lot of teams have the philosophy like, hey, we're not going to give a ton of money to a lottery esque, running back. They don't have a lottery system, but you get what I'm saying. Like, that entry
Yeah.
level deal is much higher for, those first round picks. And the quarterback's the most important position. So it's like hindsight's 2020. I could see why the trading piece of it was quiet, but still one really big headline from the whole draft, and that was Shedeur Sanders sliding from, I think he was expected to go. I think it started at like 8.5. I think that was like the first line, and then throughout the day it was like 20.5, and then he ended up getting taken in the fifth round. So you're a Buffs guy. How do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, we got to dive into him when we did our draft show, and we kind of pointed out some flaws. Like, yes, the taking sacks thing was clearly an issue, but it wasn't his fault. Like, I I still believe that the biggest knock on him was that he didn't see plays develop quickly, and in the pros, that's going to catch up to him really fast. And he's not even playing in a super great defensive conference that the Big 12 is in college football, so he's not facing world beaters on defense like he's at Alabama or anything. I just thought he always saw plays develop a little bit slower. He got away with a lot of checkdowns because of how talented some of those offensive weapons were at Colorado, specifically
Yeah,
in the wide
Travis
receiver room,
Hunter.
and
Yeah,
Travis Hunter,
made
and
him
they've
look a
had
lot
a
better.
couple other receivers that were really, really good, like Jimmy Horn. And so he just got away with a lot of things that, you know, you probably can't get away with. And I'm sure a lot of teams said that or saw that. And then we talk about the whole interview process. And to my knowledge, it sounded like he intentionally tanked a lot of interviews. He made the comment that he only wants to play with, or the best wide receiving core in the NFL is the one with DK Metcalf and George Pickens, like very heavily insinuating that, Pittsburgh was going to take him at 13 or wherever they were at. Pittsburgh said, maybe not here. Then he just continued to fall. And, did I anticipate fifth round? No way. Like, if you had told me fifth round before the draft started, I would have called you crazy. But, if you told me second round, I would have believed you.
Yeah,
Like,
even
especially,
third.
yeah,
Like, I don't think that would have been crazy, just because, like you said, I feel like you can't just look at stats in college, right?
agreed.
Like, I'm gonna go the flip side of this. I saw a funny Instagram reel, like, talking about, college stats, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, we can't forget that Gardner Minshew got taken in the sixth round, right? So it's funny. It's like, 75% career passing completion percentage, 3.7 touchdown interception ratio. Don't sleep on Gardner Minshew. It's just point I'm trying to make is, it's like the numbers in college that you're putting up isn't indicative to like your success in the NFL. And what you said highlighted that perfectly. He did pick up things slowly, right? He didn't have a great offensive line that exacerbated his ability to process things and see, that's what I'm getting at. The thing that I want to focus on a little more, though, it isn't so much with him. And like we kind of talked about this in our group chat about it because I think everybody was kind of blown away. Um, I think getting Dion is the issue. You're not just drafting Shedeur Sanders, you're getting the baggage with it too. And I'm not saying he's like good or bad. I'm indifferent to him. I think he's good for football, but like maybe for a GM, he might be a pain in the ass, right? You're getting that too. Why isn't my son playing? He's better than all these bums. It's not like an arrogance thing to me. It's like swagger. It's like that's how he is. Like he's arguably one of the best defensive players of all time. Like he has an idea of what it's like to be talented at the NFL level. He was an all-time player. So you just get that with it. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to draft my son and I'll be quiet. That's not what he's about. So I think it's kind of a culmination of everything, but I think that's like the real big one that like nobody's going to say out loud. I think that was a big part of it.
Yeah, it definitely could be. And now, from my perspective as a Buffs fan, now you have a 5th round draft pick jersey being retired, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's insane, isn't it?
And I love that they're retiring Travis Hunter's number. He wins the Heisman. I love all of that. I think it's great for the school. But now you have a quarterback, and I get it. Like, he's the start of a new era. He was kind of the guy there and, kind of paving the way for what CU football can be over the next 5 or 10 years. But now it just looks silly, right? Unless he goes on to have a really, like, hindsight might prove me wrong. And, in 10 years, I'm going to be like, oh, they made a really good call. But, when they did it before he was even drafted, it was like, he might fall a little bit. And then here we are talking about how they just retired the jersey of a guy who was a 5th round draft pick. And it's a little bit makes you scratch your head a little bit and you go, ooh, yeah, I wonder if we could take that back.
Yeah, you know how the saying is like, oh, taking it out of context? Like, this only makes sense if you do take it out of context. Yeah, you would have like it would make more sense to not think about the draft. Like, yeah, I don't know. But I think it's going to help him long term, though. Like, once he does get that opportunity, just because he's going to have a chip on his shoulder, too. Because, like you said, I don't think he's a 5th round draft pick talent wise. Like, I think anyone who says that it means it is they're being facetious. But I think 2nd is fair. 3rd is maybe even 3rd is fair. If this class was a little more talented, I feel like 3rd would be fair. But anything lower than that is a little crazy. And I don't think his play on the field was that bad. So, aside from that, that was kind of the really, really big story. Like Tyler Warren, I think a lot of people were really high on him being like a top 10 pick. He ended up going like mid-teens,
14, 15. Yeah, he fell after what's his name from Michigan. So he was he was the 2nd tight end taken off the board. I think that was more surprising to people than where he got picked.
Yeah, like I think
that
Warren
he was tight end 2.
Yeah, Warren was kind of the unanimous most well-rounded tight end. And like I think Kyle made a really good comparison to George Kittle, not like, caliber of talent, but like the style, right? Like he's going to get his nose dirty, he's going to run block. He's not a Brock Bowers type where, he's only running routes, or a Kelsey type where he's only running routes, finding space. But outside of that, I mean, it was a pretty offensive line heavy draft. There were a lot of running backs. Yeah, I mean, Sanders kind of stole the show, and like, what else are you going to talk about? I mean, you can spin it in any which way, shape, or form you want. We won't go down that rabbit hole of what some people were saying about it, but that was the big story for the most part. But I didn't watch it. I don't know if you watch it, but
I watched the 1st round. That's about it. I don't care too. I follow what happens on days 2 and 3, but I don't really watch. I watch the 1st round because I always find it interesting who goes. But my only gripe with the draft is just what the Jets did. Obviously, of course, I'm going to be mad. Going O-line in the 1st round at 7 overall. I get that O-line has been a huge pain point for them in the past and very recently too. But look at all of the guys that they have taken in the 1st round that are offensive linemen that don't work out, and then they give up on them. And then, Becton just won a Super Bowl in Philadelphia after they quit on him. And the thing that really irritated me about it is that they took Mason Taylor in the second round, a tight end. And it was like, if your plan was to take a high level tight end, with your first or second pick, why not take Warren at 7? Like, why? Like, get your O-lineman in the second round. This was an O-line heavy draft. You could have gotten one there. It killed me. He would have, especially with Justin Fields, like, he always did well with a tight end. Cole Kmet was a good weapon for him to use while he was in Chicago. It just made sense. It's like he can play that role. He can catch a lot of passes for them. They need another offensive weapon. And then you go in the second round and you pick a tight end that, quite honestly, I wasn't really high on.
Yeah, I think it's more so just kind of the time horizon with them. I think it seems like, to me, based on that draft, it seems like they're being a little more realistic about what they can accomplish. Because I think it being in New York and like the vocal fans, I think they kind of forced that window open, if that makes any sense, right? Like, I feel like that team, had you gotten Aaron Rodgers and he played like the way you were expecting him to, like, I mean, he could have took a bunch of bozos to the playoffs, right? But I think just him not playing well really actually showed how far away they actually are. Like, defense, yeah, they were good. They didn't play well this year, but it's really hard to expect them to when they're on the field for 45 minutes a game. But I feel like just offensively, I don't know if it was a talent thing or scheme
coordinator
thing.
Lack of coordinator, not having one. Having Aaron Rodgers be your coordinator.
Yeah, kind of a mix.
Man, I could go on forever.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag. But like, I feel like the last 2 years, maybe the front office is like, okay, maybe we aren't as close as we thought we were, at least on the offensive side of the ball. Because I feel like Aaron Rodgers, even being semi-healthy, I know he wasn't very good this year, but he wasn't like awful. Like, for him, he was. But like, if you looked at like league-wide average, I don't think he was like quarterback 32. You know what I mean? So it's like, maybe that team wasn't as good as they thought they were. That's just me, though. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but
I think it's some of that. Checks out.
But I've been really into hockey the last 2.5 weeks. It's been fun. Yeah, like, I didn't really leave myself a transition there, but I saw some stat like early last week, that the ratings are way down. I really don't know how. It's the best pro format there is. It's just the intensity's there, the team aspects there, and like the great equalizer is present. You playing a physical brand of hockey, right? Like all the other sports, it seems like we're getting to the point where it's like, oh, we're just way more talented. We have no chance. You always have a chance in hockey. Like, one series that sticks out in particular to me is the Blues-Jets series, and it's not that the Blues are not good, right? Because they are. Like, I think they got the Bruins' old coach, Jim Montgomery, and ever since that happened, that team has flipped. Reminds me a lot of 2019, because when they parted ways with their coach and hired Craig Berube, it was the same thing. They went from last in January to winning the Stanley Cup. And they play that physical, finish your checks kind of hockey. And you do that, you might not win that series, but you make it even by playing that style of hockey. You know what I mean? So, and all the series are like that. The one thing that I did notice, like with over the weekend, was the series that you kind of had circled as like over. They're not over. Like, it looked like New Jersey was going to get boat raced. It looked like Ottawa was going to get boat raced, and Ottawa might be dead, but I guess we'll see how tomorrow night goes.
I mean, it's 3-2 in that one.
Yeah, like, you don't really know. Like, Toronto needed to win that game at home, and they couldn't. So it's like you never really know, especially with the Maple Leafs. If that was anybody else, I'd probably be like, I'm still probably over. But even Montreal they're getting boat raced, and I think that might be the one series actually that might be over, because I think we talked about it before the playoffs started. Like, that 8 seed was kind of just a fill-in in the 100%. So, or the 7 or 8, those bottom 2 teams are not very good. But even the West, it's like you just kind of have like bipolar series game to game, right? Like you thought the Wild looked really bad game one for the most part, and then they go steal one at home. They kind of thump Vegas right out of the gate. Dallas looked really flat game one. I think Dallas is the best team in the league, and the record shows it too. But they look super flat game one, and game two they come out fighting for their lives. You know, they a lot of overtime wins for them. Then they get skunked in game four, and then put a blitzing on Colorado game five. Edmonton and LA has been wild too. So it's like I don't know how people aren't watching. It's the best pro playoff format, if you ask me.
It is, and there's a ton of series right now that are 3-2. Vegas and Minnesota is at 3-2. Ottawa and Toronto is at 3-2. Dallas and Colorado are at 3-2. The Kings and the Oilers are at 3-2. Like it, and the fun thing about hockey, like to your point, is styles make fights, right? The Jets have always been known for really good goalie play, even though Hellebuyck tends to not show up at this time of year. But they always play like that finesse, high-powered offense kind of style. And then when they run into a team that is like a big bruising team, they can have fits having. And that's kind of why I liked Ottawa going into that series. And I ended up taking Ottawa to win that series on a futures bet. But it's because they kind of play that gross physical style. And I thought that Toronto skill players were going to struggle with it. And, you know, early on, it was one of those things where Ottawa has a tendency to make dumb mistakes because of that style. But then we see how it pays off for them, you know, in games 3 and 4 or 4 and 5, whatever it was. And now we've got a 3-2 series, and it's just gotten a hell of a lot more interesting. And to your point, like that, I don't even have a horse in the race this year. Like I'm usually locked in this time of year because usually the Rangers are in it, and you know I'm sitting down and watching every single game. Rangers aren't even in it, and I'm still watching it. Like I'm not a hockey watcher in the regular season outside of the Rangers, and the Rangers were really stinky this year, so I didn't watch much of the regular season. But the playoffs is like an entirely different animal. Like it's almost like MLB. Like I think MLB and NHL are top tier playoff formats because it just has the parity. There's different styles. It's not like NFL where just the best team runs through. The NBA, the best team runs through. Like that's not as exciting to me. I'd much rather sit down and watch teams that, you know, I know there's going to be some parity in.
Yeah, and like you get an occasional blowout, right? But like look at the NBA. I think the Magic and the Grizzlies lost by like a combined 100 points in their losses. Look at the Heat. They lost by 53 the other night. It's like no one's watching that. So I don't know if like ratings are up for the NBA. If NHL's struggling, at least in my mind, if the NHL had, you know, a decrease in ratings from last year to this year, the NBA's got to be really hurting. Like it's night and day. Like I'm not even trying to poo-poo on the NBA, but just look how uncompetitive most of those games are. Like if you bet the NBA playoffs, I do. It's very worth it to bet alt lines along with your regular bet. Like put a half unit on an alt line because I mean you'd be rich if you bet the Cavs every game and then you bet them like -20. They're just not competitive. In the hockey, even the blowouts, like the efforts there, you can still see they're trying, which I appreciate that. But it's been really, really fun, at least for me.
Is there anybody that has caught your attention that you're looking to either get in on futures wise or that you already have gotten in on futures wise?
I didn't do any futures this year. I didn't pay as close enough attention to hockey this year. Like I bet it every night, but like it was more of a line grind. Like I didn't feel like I had a really good idea of what teams I really wanted to take a stab at. I did have two in mind, one on each conference, but I didn't end up doing it. I did like Vegas. I thought they were like moderately priced when the playoffs started. I think it was like 10-1 or 11-1. And I think you're just kind of getting a little bit of a bonus because the West is far and away the better conference outside of Florida, right? You've got Dallas, you've got Edmonton, Colorado's no slouch. The Kings are no slouch. So it's like if they could have made it, if they can make it to the Western Conference Finals and, winning 6, I think you've got a legitimate chance there. The East, I really didn't know. Like, Florida would have been the easiest guess, just because they are flat out the best team in that conference. They play physical, nasty brand of hockey. They can score. I mean, they added Seth Jones and Brad Marchand, and that power play, you've got guys all over the ice. Sergei Bobrovsky in the playoffs is on another level every year. And I just don't think you've got as much competition in that conference, top to bottom. Like, Tampa looks very strange to me. Like, I feel like they don't look as good as a team as they actually are. You can't trust the Maple Leafs to do anything. Carolina, it's kind of the same deal. Like, I thought that series was going to be wrapped up, and they're struggling. They lost at home to New Jersey, who's not a very good team, if you ask me. But I don't know. It's just I couldn't narrow a team down I really liked. I liked Vegas more than anything. Like, if I were to play one, that's probably who I would have rolled with this year. But East, I don't really know.
Yeah, Carolina's going to be interesting. I mean, they dropped the one game to New Jersey, but they're always a good team this time of year.
Yeah,
like,
and
I tend to like them.
Yeah, they're very, very well coached. Brendan Moore's
Yeah.
a really good coach, and they usually play really, really good defense as a team, right? But you couldn't tell. But if you watched last night, it was 4-0 at the end of the first or 3-0 at the end of the first. But typically, they play really good defense. But I feel like they can struggle to score at times too. Just kind of a stagnant offense occasionally. But you don't see it in the regular season. I just feel like they don't take a ton of chances. They play really structurally sound hockey. But I don't know. Sometimes it's like when you're thinking about who's got the best chance to win, sometimes going through those deeper conferences, you get out of that conference finals super tired. So maybe that'll benefit the East, but I think the West is the best conference this year, like hands down. Edmonton LA series has been pretty wild too, because I think the Kings were up 4-0 at the end of the second, ends up 5-5, and they win just before the game ends. LA could have had the series wrapped up already. Like, they just wouldn't finish Edmonton. They were winning in game 2, game 3. Whatever game was ended up being 7-4. Like, they were winning that whole game. Sunday night they were up 2-1. They lost. So it's like a team that's going to win the Cup's not going to do that. Like, Edmonton should have been out already, if you ask me. But that's all I got for that, really. I've been kind of just going game by game, watching. I've been really flat betting it because typically I do pretty well in the regular season, but I'm pretty dog focused. But I've been better this year in the playoffs, but it seems to be like I do better. It's like day to day. That's been pretty consistent for me. I feel like one series I have a really good grasp on. Like, I get every game in that series, but then like the next day when they alternate what games are being played, I just give it all back. It's like I have a weird feel like this series I'm doing a good job on. Then the other series, it's like I can't do anything right. So it's been the same of that, but it's been about 50-50 as opposed to last year when I would just stunk. I had to
stop. All right, let's jump into some baseball here before we wrap up. We've got some interesting developments on some teams that we talked about 2 weeks ago, and one of those teams being the Seattle Mariners. Now with a
sorry. Before, I did put out a blog for the 3 best teams, and I think I already mushed a couple of them. So good job, Jake. Continue. Mariners.
The Mariners finally starting to put some things together. They have won 4 straight. They've got a plus 23 run differential. They're actually starting to hit the ball, which is really, really good to see because we know what this team can do if they're playing well. And sure, they just wrapped up a series against the Marlins where they took 2 of 3. They played really good baseball against the Red Sox where they took 2 of 3. They played really good baseball against the Blue Jays where they took 2 of 3. I mean, they're just winning series right now. And it all started with a sweep against the Rangers. And I guess before that, they get swept by the Giants and then they just go on this run where they beat the Astros, they beat the Rangers, they beat the Reds. They've just been playing really quality baseball. And I think this is a sign of things to come. and I'm going to put it into a non-analytical gut feeling thing. It feels like this team has just underperformed so many years in a row. Like it feels like this might, and I've been saying this for probably 3 years now, like, oh, this is the year. Like they're finally going to put it together. It feels like they're actually approaching that a little bit. The strikeout rate is actually down. They've got 262 strikeouts in 970 at bats, which is right around, 20,
like 20%,
27, 26. Still a little high, but I think that's just kind of how this offense plays. But when they're able to hit the ball really hard, and J-Rod is off to a better start than he has in years past. I know the batting average isn't there, but the power production has been pretty solid so far. Big Dumper's been lighting it up a little bit.
Yeah, Kyle O'Reilly's been awesome.
JP Crawford has actually been really productive for them, which is huge because he's one of those guys that like he either kills the lineup or he extends it really, really well. And when he's hitting well, this offense is way more dynamic. And I've been really happy with what I've seen from them. We all know they can pitch, and they're just going to continue to do that.
Yeah.
If they can score, and that plus run differential is a sign of things to come, in my opinion. I like to look at that stuff because I think it's an indication of whether or not you're over or underperforming. And it seems like in years past, they've kind of struggled in that category just because of the pitching being so good and them not able to score runs. They're finally starting to put it together and score runs and win consistent series.
Yeah, like you said, the pitching is always there for him, given a start here or there. Like Luis Castillo, I feel like maybe his last start was a little better, but like he's been struggling. But outside of that, it's been business as usual for that rotation. The only thing I would say though is I feel like they do this every year, where they go on a pretty good stretch.
They usually do it towards the end, though.
Yeah,
they usually do it in August.
Mm-hmm. Not like what you're saying, where we're striking out less or we're scoring more runs. I feel like they just win like 10 of 15 or 13 of 20 every year, and then it's just more of the same. Like they come back to earth. So hopefully they don't. I feel like they're a fun team. I feel like people.
I just want to see that team in a playoff, dude. I want to see that rotation compete in the playoffs. We just haven't gotten it in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I feel like, everyone kind of remembers that 2001 season, best record. It's the best winning percentage, most wins too, I think. Both, yeah, because I mean, 900 years ago they played less games, so the percentage might be different, but like the best regular season team ever, and they lose in the first round of the playoffs, and I don't think they've been back since, or maybe they've been back one.
They've been back, but haven't had any success.
Yeah, so like I feel like the baseball community kind of like we're in their corner. If that makes sense. So
yeah,
I think Mariners being good is good for baseball.
I'm 100% with you, and even as somebody who like roots for the Dodgers, I'm still a baseball fan first. At the end of the day, quite honestly, I'm not a team fan first. I'm more of a sport fan first. I love seeing smaller teams do well, and Seattle just feels like at some point, I still think they got to make a move at the deadline for a bat, but time will tell what that looks like. I don't think Randy Arozarena is going to cut it. Big game Randy is kind of on his last leg. There's a team that I didn't plan for, but I do want to bring up because the Tigers right now are lighting it up, especially on offense. Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, and Kerry Carpenter have been going nuclear this year, and I'm so happy that Torque is back. I mean, he's not going to hit 300. He's not that kind of hitter, but he's got 8 home runs and 24 RBIs so far. And for a guy that it felt like this was his last chance after having multiple what felt like last chances, especially last year getting sent down a couple of times, like I'm probably going to be talking about him all season. I'm such a believer in him. He's finally putting it together, and it's really good for the Tigers because last year, along with those AL Central teams like the Royals, the biggest hole in those teams was lineup depth. And I think if you're the Tigers and you get that bruiser in the middle of the lineup on top of Green and Carpenter, and Carpenter is a little bit of a splits merchant at times, but he's playing more consistently against both sides of the pitching. So, I mean, you got to be really happy with that. And don't look now. Javier Baez hitting just about 300. Is it going to last? No, but it's awesome to see, right? Like that's a piece of that lineup that can actually contribute in a way and be really productive on top of Trey Sweeney, who's kind of their future at that position.
Yeah, when I was writing that piece over the weekend, they were kind of a team where I was like, "Gosh, should I put them in there? Should I not put them in there?" I ended up not putting them in there just because I feel like the expectations were kind of there, just based on last year. It's like, okay, we made it to the playoffs. Our ace won a Cy Young. Like, I felt like they didn't hit all that well last year as a team. We made some additions. All right, we're moving in the right direction. And then they kind of came out of the gate firing. I could have included them. I went a different direction. Maybe I should have. But they're hitting. Like, that's the most important part. And it seems like when they get that lead, most of the time they're not squandering it either. Because like last year, I know the back end of that bullpen was really, really good. Like if you got to the 8th and the 9th inning with the lead, you weren't giving it up. But the issue was getting there. Like if your starter went 6 innings, that 7th inning could be a roller coaster. It doesn't seem like that this year. And I don't have the bullpen stats off the top of my head. I don't know. That's something for you to know. But they're hitting and they're pitching well. When they're not pitching well, they're pitching well enough.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, the AL Central has become, quite honestly, like one of the more fun divisions in baseball.
They're all even. Yeah, they're like all even.
Even when they stink, like they all kind of
stink.
They all
stink together. Yeah, it's always, it's like the NL Central. The NL Central the same way, except like either the Brewers or the Cubs or the Cardinals like seem to run away with it, where like 2, 3, and 4 are pretty close. Like every year, there's 3 teams that can win the AL Central, and you don't know who it's going to be until September 30th, and it's always very fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of the NL Central, I think we got to talk about your Cubs a little bit because they're playing really good baseball. PCA is.
Yep. I don't know if we poo-pooed him publicly, but I poo-pooed him privately, and I'm very glad I did because it's working. He sucks. I'm just kidding. He doesn't suck. Now he's going to go like 0-40. But he's got pop. He's got wheels. True 5-tool player. If being ugly was a tool, it'd be 6 because that guy is goofy looking. I'm goofy looking, but like he's not a looker. But he's a good baseball player. The pop is nice because he had pop in the minor leagues too. So you don't want him to come up and just be like a one-trick pony, right? Like, oh, I play good defense, and the 2 games a week I get on first base, I'm on second base because I'm fast. Like him hitting the ball with power is very good to see, and everyone else is getting on base. Like I bet a lot, obviously, and I am not ever afraid to fade my team. They've burned me a couple of times. I back them; they'll give up 7 runs in the 8th inning, and then they'll get 8 back. Like the hitting is exceptional right now. That's the only problem, though, is the bullpen. That bullpen is not good.
I still think they need another starter, too. I think they'll go get one at the deadline, especially with Steele being out for the year.
I would a need. Yeah, I would think that's a need. But the only problem I see with that is I don't know if the urgency is there yet because like their starting pitching has been pitching very well. Like Ben Brown has been giving much better innings than I'd expect. Same with Matthew Boyd. He's been pretty good.
I love that signing, by the way.
I did. I liked it too, but it just seems like one inning. Like Craig always seems to leave him out there too long. Most of the time, I blame Craig for everything, not the players, even though Craig's not out there playing. But yeah, there's a lot to really like. Kyle Tucker is like, if he keeps playing like this for a month, just give him the MVP. It's his. He's got more extra base. He's got more extra base hits than strikeouts. It's dumb.
He's got more walks than strikeouts too.
Also, well, that's not that dumb. Like, in today's MLB, today's game is dumb. But I feel like that was more common maybe 20 years ago. So now it's dumb. But you got to see the other guys keep chipping in because that's what they're doing, right? I feel like they're hitting a lot of home runs as a team. But it's like the doubles. It's the stringing the singles together that's like really helping them put up these crooked numbers. Because, I mean, they've got to be leading the league in scoring and run differential. They have to be. I don't know who else would be.
They are close.
The scoring, like the runs per game, they have to be 1.
Yankees and Mets are the only teams better in run differential.
How about like just runs a game? I don't know if you have that pulled up. The differential with the Mets makes sense because
they're first in runs scored.
Yeah. And I think they have been, top 5, top 10 the last couple of years. So you just need that pitching to the starting pitching to stay strong and the bullpen to just, show up. And it's kind of without Shota being like really, really good too, which is a good sign. Not for him, but like, hey, we're playing good baseball even when our ace now. I mean, I don't know who you would call that ace between Shota or Steele, but Shota hasn't even been pitching all that well, I feel like, and they're still finding ways to win. So
he's not striking out a lot of guys. He still has sub-3 ERA, but
yeah, he
the
doesn't get
strikeouts
hit
are not.
around.
Yeah, 30 strikeouts in 39 innings. But I think if there's a part of his game that's going to regress, and I know I talked about him like regressing a little bit into this season, I think the part of him that was going to regress was probably going to be the strikeout thing. He just doesn't throw hard enough to, I think, like accumulate
he's not
a ton
overpowering
of strikeouts.
guys. Yeah, it's all
He's definitely going to get them
reception.
when he needs to, but he's still been really good.
Yeah,
love it.
no qualms aside from the bullpen and managing that bullpen, which I think is even a bigger issue than the bullpen. If I'm being honest, that's not a strange thing either. Like he struggled with that with the Brewers too. Given you had Devin Williams on your team, and you never know what you're going to get with him. It's the old Marmol special, but I feel like Craig struggled to manage bullpen arms in Milwaukee.
Yeah, no,
and he had a good bullpen.
Yeah,
they disguised it. Now you have a bad bullpen. Like you really have to be able to manage your arms. If you can't do that, you get what we have.
Yeah. One final team I want to touch on, and it's a team that preseason I was really high on, and things have started to go downhill, and we kind of predicted it a couple of weeks ago when we talked about them. But it's the Rangers, right? When we talked about them before, it was like they were like
winning but not
9-2.
scoring. Yeah,
they were winning and not scoring, and now they're not scoring and losing. And the run differential is a little bit deceiving right now. It's only -3, but they just scored 16 runs against the A's last night, so they got a little friendly boost out of that one. Mm-hmm. But they've been playing pretty rough baseball. They lost the series to the A's. They lost the series to the Giants, who, even though they're starting to slip a little bit, they still have 19 wins. They're still playing really good baseball. I don't know. I mean, the roster construction of this team, like, it's still going to suck me in because I still believe in a lot of the guys. But, like, when you look down the list, nobody in this team is performing, especially on offense. And I still think that's a good thing. Not a good thing right now, but a good thing in the long run.
You're winning.
Marcus Semien has been horrible, and Jake Berger has been horrible, and Corey Seager has been underwhelming.
Not Corey Seager. Yeah,
I mean, he's hitting fine, and Wyatt Langford has been hurt, and he's starting to pick it back up a little bit, which I think is really good for them. He's got 6 bombs. Jock Peterson has been, quite honestly, useless. You might as well stick me out there and swing a wet newspaper. It's just like, it's just not a complete team right now, and roster construction wise, like, I still love what I see, and on the pitching side, they've been really, really good. Nathan Eovaldi has been really good. Jacob deGrom looks like Jacob deGrom. The back end of the bullpen looks good. It's just like they got a hit, and the offense looks really bad right now. And I have concerns. Like, I still have questions about a guy like Jake Berger. Like, what is he going to give you over 162? I know he had a good year last year, but even before that, he's coming off of a career year in 2023. And it's like, is he actually that player, or was he just really good for a couple years? And to me, those are kind of concerning things. And I think Adolis Garcia kind of falls into that too. He's been pretty underwhelming to start the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like we're getting to the point where it's like you can't say it's early anymore. Like we're 30 games in, 35 games in for a few of the teams.
Quarter mark, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you're running out of time for that. Oh, it's early excuse, especially for the guys that play every day. And I think you nailed it. Like their pitching has been they've been pitching well enough to keep most teams in a game. And how many times have you looked at the box score the next morning and you see, Rangers lose 3-2? You got to score, especially the way that team is constructed. Like it's all predicated on offense. You said they've been pitching well, which is true, but on that World Series run 2 years ago, I feel like that was the exact opposite. Like they were just mashing the baseball.
That year.
They mashed that year, and the pitching was average to below average, and then it kind of just all came together. You signed Chapman, you got that bullpen help you needed because their bullpen was terrible that year, and it just kind of all came together. It's largely, a lot of the pieces are still there. If there's new pieces, they kind of fit right in. So, like, if you're not scoring runs, they're going to struggle for sure. It's not
Yeah,
like a
and
Mariners situation where you're expecting, oh, we're not going to give up 4 runs tonight most nights.
they're fourth in the league in runs allowed.
Yeah,
So
that's not
they're
good.
like, no. Well, yeah, well, it is good, but they're not scoring.
Oh, yeah,
They're
that's not
like,
good for them, is what I'm saying. Like, they have to be able to hit. Like,
yeah, like you are playing 500 baseball with allowing the fourth least runs in the entire league. I don't know. I still have confidence. Like Bochy is a fantastic manager. He's he's gonna do his thing.
4 World Series, yeah.
They're gonna make a run at some point. I think. Like it's hard for me to believe that those guys like Garcia and Berger are gonna be really bad over 162. But they kind of were like. I mean, Jake Berger's fine, I guess. Like he's a good power hitter at times, but like a guy like Garcia, like it seems like he's kind of fading into the nothingness. Right
Yeah,
now.
which is not good because, like, he was kind of the spark plug on your team. Like,
Yes.
Seager, obviously, but, like, Garcia hit, like, 300, and the power numbers were crazy that year. And it's like, we need that, like, literally right now. Not even now. We need that yesterday. Like,
he feels like he's on the same track as Randy Arozarena. Feels like they're on the same track right now. But they were both like they have just had their crazy moments. They're lighting the world on fire, and it just feels like it's just downhill slide right now.
yeah, and, like, I mean, wasn't Garcia the guy that kind of, like, struggled to even break into the league in the first place? Is that who I'm thinking of? Like, that whole story with the Cardinals, like, wrote him off. That's Adolis Garcia, right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea.
No,
It might be.
I saw something about, like, oh, he was, like, ready to quit baseball or something.
Maybe. I mean, he was with he came up with the Cardinals, and he only played one season there, and he like didn't actually play. He only played like 20 games in a Cardinals uniform. So I assume, they just gave up on him, and that was pre-COVID, and then the Rangers signed him post-COVID, and I think 2021 is the year that he went crazy. I think, or no, it was 2023 was the year he went crazy 2 years ago. And he still had 25 pumps last year. Like he's still going to hit probably 20 bombs this season, but it just feels like it's not like he felt like he was approaching superstar territory, hitting almost 30 bombs with triple-digit RBIs every year, and now it's like 20 home runs, 70 to 80 RBIs, and it's like
and
kind of falling like decent, right?
Then that's what I mean. Yeah, it's like you doing that with that production, hitting 313 or 315 is way different than you doing it at 215.
Yeah.
And he might not even be doing that. There's no way he's hitting his body weight. He's a big boy.
He is hitting 214 at the moment. His best year was 250. Yeah.
Okay, I just pulled 300 out of my butt, but you get what I'm saying. The point.
Yeah, but I mean, he hit 250 with 39 home runs and 107 RBIs.
Yeah, you having
compared to 220, with 27 and 85.
And he's got what, 1 home run right now? 2?
He's got 4. He's got 4 with 14. I think he got hot kind of last week, but yeah, I mean he's just one of those guys like you need him to kind of be a superstar, and I know he's not like super young at this point. He's 32.
Yeah, I think he's
but like you still need him, and that's kind of how I feel about a lot of these guys. Like it feels like Simeon and Seager and Garcia are kind of on the tail ends of their careers.
Yeah, back half, and then you have for sure.
Yeah, and then you have like Langford and Evan Carter and Josh Young that are all like at the beginning of their careers, and you kind of just hope you get like one good ride out of those vets, and the young guys kind of put things together and really like get after it. And that's what I believe this team can do. And I don't know. I mean, I might be wrong. I might be right in 8 months. Who knows? But I still think like what they have roster construction wise is way too talented to underperform and miss the playoffs again.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, the tough thing for them is you're not going to know because I don't think they'll be out of it in that division.
No,
it's them and the Astros. It's probably them and the Astros
and the Mariners.
Yeah, I mean,
for what it's worth, the AL wild card is going to be like it's just going to be like a hodgepodge. I don't even, you know what I mean? There's going to be like,
could get one from each division. Like,
yeah,
I
there's
feel
going to be like
it's that
9
even.
teams that are all within 3 games of the wild card spot at the end of the year. Like, that's just kind of how the AL is. Like, there's nobody like that dominant.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be a lot of teams that are kind of in that, if I had to guess, 85 to 90 win range that are all going to be fighting for those wild card spots. There's probably going to be 8 or 9 teams that I could see at that mark.
I could even see it lower, like 80 to 85.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be that even, I think, in the AL. I mean, look at all the other divisions right now. Like, who's running away in the AL East? It seems to be the Yankees. Everyone else is kind of eh. I mean, like the Rays are, I'd say the Rays are bad. Boston's hanging around. They're playing a little better. Like, they're very streaky. Like, I feel like they'll win 5 in a row and they'll lose 5 in a row, get pounded, and then score 30 runs in one game. But the Rays stink. The Orioles aren't very good right now. Blue Jays are the Blue Jays. I feel like they're just like, I think you could do a Blue Jay season and write 81 and 81 and you won't miss by many. Like, that's just them. I feel like AL Central, we talked about a little bit. It's
going to be really tight. All those teams are probably going to be right around 80 to 85 wins. Even the winner of that division is probably going to win 88 games. Like, I bet, if Detroit wins it, they probably win it with 88 or 89.
Yeah, and like, I'm not very impressed with Cleveland, and Minnesota, frankly, is bad.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think it's
starting to play a little bit better.
Yeah, I think it's a culmination of everything there. Like, the starting pitching has been terrible. Like, why are they rolling Chris Paddock out there?
Again.
You got a snowman on the scoreboard, and it's 1:30 in the afternoon. Your game started at 1:10. Like, what are we doing? Rocco Baldelli.
Yeah, and then you still have the West. And the West is Seattle, Houston, and Texas that are all going to be within 4 games of each other when it's all said and done. And I mean, even the A's are 3 games out right now. I don't think they're going to, they're not going to last at that.
Stay there. That's why I'm not trying to shame them, but I just don't realistically see them being in contention in August.
No, but we just rattled off 8 teams that are probably all going to be between 80 and 90 wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the A's will probably be 75 to 80. I mean, I don't think they're going to be bad. I still think they are bad, but I think like things are starting to come together for them. I think I was a little wrong on that, but yeah, no, you never know. It's not going to be over for them. It's not going to be like it's June, they're 20 games back, it's over. They have no way. Like, they could be 20 games back in June, and all of a sudden they're in first September 15th.
Yeah, 100%.
That's how the bats work. But any other teams you want to hit on?
That's all I got on the baseball front.
I think that's a wrap then. I don't really have much else to talk about. I mean, I'm just going to make some dinner and watch some more hockey because that's what I do.
Oh, you want me to? Oh, let me.
You always wrap it up.
I always forget.
Yeah, it's okay.
I keep forgetting. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you smash that subscribe button so you get these videos every single week. Like the podcast, so it pops up on your Spotify, and you just get your Thursday mornings greeted with our lovely voices. Make sure you're following us on Twitter and the Substack, so that way you get access to all of our articles. Jake's putting in some work right now on the MLB front, and we got a lot of things coming out. I'm sure there's going to be some NHL stuff pumping out, and we're almost right around the corner from being able to preview some college football stuff. So if you're a college football guy, that's going to start pumping out, right? When we kind of get into the dog days of summer and we get sick of the MLB, at least from a podcast standpoint, because there's only so much you can talk about.
Yeah, it's the same things over and over. Like, it's going to be a challenge to think of things to talk about in July. Maybe we're just going to become the world's premier WNBA podcast.
Yeah, because they never stop. They play 4 seasons every year.
Dude,
that league is always playing.
They literally do.
And they're always in the playoffs. I don't care what anybody tells me. They're in the playoffs 3 times a year.
No, you're right.
I don't know if that's true, but like it
can't be. But like, I feel like you're right. Yeah.
No, everybody I say that to is like on the same page as me. I don't think it's true at all, but like it is.
You can compare it to like why the planets orbit the sun. Like, it's just why does that? It's just it is. Gravity is just a thing. It's true. See, you get You don't get memorization of stats from me. You get spot on analysis and stupid shit like that with me. So
that's why you stick around. If you made it this far, you're obviously a sicko, and you like us far more than you probably care to admit.
Yeah.
But we will see you guys next week. That's a wrap.